Volume's okay?
As good as it'll ever be. Yeah. Oh, Joe, I really want this episode to be fast, but I don't do anything to make it fast, so, yeah.
If there's anyone that's going slow right now, it's you.
Whoa.
Know what it is? Nope.
You know what it is?
You know what it is?
Would you call it a mirror or a mirror?
How would I say it?
Right.
Well, I would say it like a... Well, if... That's a great question.
Good talk, Rob.
Welcome to Cast Royale, the Clash Royale podcast for casual players. I'm Rob.
And I'm Joe. And this week, we discuss the current meta, King's Cup, an awesome deck spotlight, and more. Boom.
Boom. What's up, man?
Oh, that's my line, dude. But what is up? Episode 48. Let's go, baby.
Episode 48 in the books. Boom.
Well, it's not in the books yet.
You're right. I'm just stealing your lines. That's my goal for the entire episode.
So you're going to say boom all the time.
Boom.
Well, that's great. And then you're just going to say everything I say throughout the entire episode. This should be fun.
Nah, I change exactly what I just said. I'm going to do I'll be Rob, you can be Joe.
So, if so facto, fine.
Yeah, so we're back. And it's been a pretty fun week, wouldn't you say?
I would say. I would love to know how your week in the arena has gone.
So I'm actually doing really well. I am hovering at just above 4,500 trophies, which is my season high. Yeah, and it feels fantastic. And when I get to this point, I find myself staring at the main lobby screen for quite a while before pressing the battle button, because I want to play so bad, but I don't want to play at all because I don't want to drop trophies. So like the 2v2 button looks so much more enticing when you're up here at this trophy count.
It's like it hurts so good, but it hurts so bad at the same time.
Exactly. That's exactly my thought process.
No, I can totally relate. Whenever I get to any sort of, even honestly, I think it's like whenever I get close to, just even close to what my high is, I get to the point where I'm just like, all right, I'm almost there. My palms are sweaty. I feel like if I hit battle, I know I'm about to face like a maxed out Royal GG. And I'm just going to be miserable. So you know what I try and do, dude? I feel like the game knows what I'm about to do, right?
Yep.
So it knows that I'm about to hit battle. So it knows to match me up against like the worst possible deck matchup for a Mortar Mauler. And for me, normally that's like Lava Loon, but let's pass that because no one plays that anymore. But the other worst one would be like a Royal Giant Bowler.
Ugh.
Furnace deck.
Terrible.
Like, doesn't that just sound miserable, right?
Terrible. It sounds like no skill.
Right. It sounds like it just hurts my soul thinking about it. So instead what I do is I say, you know what? I'm going to fake press battle. I'm going to fake press it. I'm going to like act like I'm pressing it and just kind of not press it. I'm going to like fake the game out. And then I do that like 3 times and then I'm like, all right, it's time. And then I go in. I lose anyway, so it doesn't really help, but still it makes me feel better.
No, dude, I 100% agree. Have you ever been in a situation where I'm still stuck on staring at the battle button? Have you ever like convinced yourself, all right, maybe I'll just do one more game. You press battle and then literally a half a second later, you're like, no. Smash the cancel button. Cancel. And it brings you back to the main lobby screen. You're like, phew, man, made it out of that one pretty clear. And then it's like, and the game is starting because the cancel button literally does nothing.
Yeah, I think there's like a lag, right? I think I agree with you. Whenever I've never successfully hit the cancel button and exited a game that I accidentally clicked battle for. Because the Supercell wants the game designed to be simple. Like they want getting into a game to be easy and simple, right? So if you add a confirmation button, it's no more simple. It adds another step to get into a game, right?
Yeah.
But if you accidentally are swiping across the screen and hit battle, or if your phone's open and you click battle, it doesn't really work out so well.
Yeah. There was a beautiful concept that came out a while ago that was like the battle button itself was a slider, and you had to slide the battle button all the way across in order to activate it to let you battle, which I thought was pretty clever.
I agree with that. I did see another concept on Reddit, which was the battle button was like a press to hold button. So you'd have to hold it for 3 consecutive seconds before you entered into a battle.
Ooh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today. Have you ever had this happen to you? This is terrible.
Uh-oh.
So like I told you about the cancel button and it never works, right?
Correct.
Have you ever tried to quit the app to cancel a game before it, let's say you just press battle, but you quit the app and it never makes it into the battle screen. Then you get back into the game and it's on the main menu. Have you ever had that happen to you?
I'm so incredibly confused. So I will say no.
Okay, because I bet you most people haven't. So what happens is I go back into the game after I quit the game and I go back in and it doesn't show me in a battle. So I start a new game and I finish the game that I'm in, but I lose the ghost game. It keeps me in a battle. It literally never cancels your battle.
Really?
Yes. Now, I'm wondering if they fixed that in whatever maintenance stuff they've been doing and the updates that they've been doing, but that was literally the most frustrating thing. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, I think that's like, if you lose that second game, that's like a double whammy. That hurts, man.
Especially when you had no control over the first one.
It's a very, very good point.
So enough about me and complaining about the game. What about you? How have you been doing in the arena?
So my week in the arena has been pretty good. I am currently sitting at 4,800 trophies, which is right around my season high. Ooh. I am obviously still using the Mortar Mauler. It's my only deck that I can use in ladder, at the trophy count that I'm at. Exciting news, this week I did finally get my archers to a maxed level. So this is my 3rd maxed card out of, the 77 cards or whatever that are in this game. Yeah. And all 3 of them are common cards. First up was the Mortar, obviously. Second was the Knight, and third was the Archers. Next up will be the Arrows, but that's going to take probably a couple of weeks before I can get that bad boy to level 13. So I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I still only have the maxed out Mortar, and I'm working on my Knight. I'm like 150 away from a maxed out Knight, but dude, I'm only halfway with the gold. It's going to take a long time to get 100,000.
You're gonna need some more. You're gonna need some more challenges where the main one-time rewards are gold.
I need some more King's Cup stuff.
King's Cup.
Well, we'll get to that. Anything else happen to you? Anything else good?
No, that's been it. I've been playing a little bit of Touchdown. Doing a lot of the friendly battles, but otherwise haven't really had anything exciting happen this week.
All right, let's talk about what you just said for a hot minute. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Now that we had our however long it was, a week-long fix of Touchdown, right now, currently, the only way you can play Touchdown is where?
In a friendly battle.
How do you feel about that?
To be honest with you, I never really thought too much about it, but I guess since you asked.
Well, I'm full of thought-provoking questions tonight, so get ready.
I'm ready. All right. So, I think ultimately it's cool that the option is there, right? But I think what I liked better was being able to play it whenever I wanted. Like sometimes there's not people in the clan around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just causes me to not be able to play it as much as I would if, the servers were kept for, call it in the wild as opposed to in a friendly match.
Right. Do you have a feeling, because I have this feeling, that Touchdown is a mode that is only going to stay in special events?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question, right? I mean, I hope it doesn't, but I mean, I guess what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, personally, it seems like that's where they're going with this, because they took it away fairly quickly for something that was like a huge banner item for a pretty big update. Arguably one of the biggest, but I don't know. I kind of, like you said, I want to be able to play it whenever I want, and there's not always people that are in my clan, which sometimes is a bummer. I would really kind of like it if they put it where the 2v2 button is currently on the main menu screen. So like when you press that button, it brings up a menu already that lets you choose whether you want to play a quick match or you want to play with a friend, right? I think that they could easily incorporate whether you want to play a regular 2v2 match first versus a touchdown mode. And then you choose whether you want to play with a person or not.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's a good option, right? I think at the end of the day, the casual feel of touchdown was really cool. But I think it was cooler when you could play it against real people, not like your clanmates are not real people, right? But you need to effectively have a bunch of people on in order to make it work. And
right.
And it's not the easiest thing to do all the time. Everyone's got their own lives, their own schedules, their own, abilities to play at certain times of the day. So, I ultimately loved when Touchdown came out because it was just this fresh, casual play where anytime you wanted, you could just kind of go in and do it. But, now it's like in the game, but you can't do it whenever you want. It's not always accessible because it's limited to certain people being on in your clan. And oh, by the way, they also have to be willing or able to play. They can't be in another match. They can't they can't be doing challenges, right? Not everyone is always available, even if they're in the game.
I guess it would also be nice if they just left the practice version in the events tab, like it cycled through every 8 hours like it used to. That would be a really cool way. And they could even, like the one-time reward where you get 5 gems. First of all, that's fantastic. Everybody likes free gems. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but you do it once per every round of the special event. So it doesn't have to keep going.
No, I totally agree. I think those practice things are like the right approach, right? Maybe not put it in the 2v2 tab, right? But maybe just put it, what if like the mirror challenge and the 2v2 touchdown challenge? What if those daily practices were always there, and once you do it once, like that's it, you're done?
Yeah, that would really be awesome. Like I said, I would just like it so that they were timed like the way that they were when it first came out. You had the practice that lasted for, you could only play it once every 8 hours or so. I don't remember what the exact time frame was, but it cycled around so that those things are always there and they can constantly shift them. Maybe they feel like they don't have enough stuff right now, but I feel like that's kind of where they need to go, but I don't know if they're going to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I guess we'll see over time. But I do love the special events. I do love the way that, the update kind of brought stuff to us. Just wish that these things that were coming out that we were super excited about when the update originally happened were still fully accessible as opposed to, spotlighted every once in a while.
Right, because now the only thing we have to look forward to is the new way that they release new cards, which is still hidden. So we really don't have anything in the game right now that's like, super new other than like the challenges that we're going to talk about.
Right.
But onward and upward, as they say, rocket style. You ready?
I'm ready.
You brought it up. Let's talk about the mirror challenge.
Did you play?
Absolutely. Did you play?
How could you not play, right? Dude.
I know.
This mirror challenge was fantastic. So let's just quickly talk through it and then we can go through like the specifics, right? So the mirror challenge was one of the challenges that was discussed when the update came out. And this was a style of gameplay that Supercell implemented to really put a monkey wrench, is what I'll call it, in people's ability to complain when they lost the match. Personal opinion. So basically what happens is you start off the match with the same deck as your opponent. So your entire game, you're playing against a mirror matchup. Technically, same deck versus same deck. Not only is it the same deck, but as if that wasn't enough, it also included the mirror. So
right.
It was a mirror matchup, including the mirror card. All 4 starting cards of each player were the same. And the next 4 subsequent cards, so thinking, if you think about it like rounding out the remainder of the 8 cards, were also provided in the same order.
Right. Because at that point, once you cycle through all the cards, you can't guarantee that it's always going to be in the same order.
Right. So in theory, every single thing about the game is exactly the same, except for the order in which you play your cards. So, at the end of the day, the only person that you can blame for losing is yourself, right?
Yes, I think some people might disagree with you, and I'm not saying that I'm on that team. I certainly can't advocate for that opinion, and I wouldn't try to argue for it. But I think that there are always going to be people that complain and blame a loss on someone other than themselves. But like you said, that's exactly what this is for. Take ownership of your losses.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide to mirror skeletons instead of a bowler or something that's more useful and effective, that's on you and me, right? It's not, it's on whoever's playing the cards. Now, the cool thing about this challenge is that if you know your deck, then innately you know their deck. So you should easily be able to tell which cards in the deck itself isn't good against.
Right.
So for example, if you have a balloon in your deck, well then your opponent also has a balloon. If you only have one air targeting troop, like the wizard, well, then you should play your balloon literally as soon as they play their wizard, but on the opposite side.
Yep, and protect your wizard at all costs and save it until they're ready to throw their balloon.
That is exactly my point, my man. So that, I mean, at the end of the day, if you implemented these like little tips and tricks, you could be a little bit more successful. I mean, at the end of the day, mirror matchups wind up being a little bit stale, right? Because it's like the same cards fighting each other the whole time. But at the same time, it was also pretty cool because it kind of forced you to play with cards that you don't necessarily always play with, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Right, but it's also a nice game of tug of war, so to speak. Because you're trying really hard to get crafty with when you place troops and where you place troops and what you mirror. Because, like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember playing a game where they think I got a Mega Knight deck, and for whatever reason, my opponent didn't think it was the right way to play by mirroring a Mega Knight. But I did, and I cycled through all of my cards to get another one so I could mirror it. And it was fantastic. I had 3 Mega Knights on the field.
Yeah, that sounds devastating.
How do you beat that?
Right. The only thing that beats that, I think, is like triple Sparky.
Yeah, that's it.
Or triple P.E.K.K.A.
And a free spell.
Yeah, and a free spell, right. You need a free spell.
All right, so clearly it's beatable. We clearly came up with ways to beat this, so forget it.
Right. But in the moment, it's unbeatable.
Right. I mean, overall, did you like the challenge? Did you like having to play against the same deck, regardless of like the stale stuff? Because I think that's the nature of the beast in this sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I agreed with your analogy that the tug of war mentality was spot on, right? And I do think ultimately it's a solid challenge. It's a challenge that is challenging, and I know that sounds, like a pun, but I'm not trying to make a pun. I'm trying to be real about it, right? Like challenges should be challenging sometimes. Other times they should be fun and and casual and easy to pick up and do. But this one wasn't so easy to do. I find that when you play a mirror matchup, you really need to play the deck right. Otherwise, you wind up losing. And so I thought it was a really cool little twist to things.
Yep, and I did naturally find myself not getting as mad when I lost.
Is that because you didn't want to blame yourself?
It's because it's because I had to blame myself. Normally, I would just get mad because I feel like someone's just like being an annoying person when I'm playing them, or they just start stuff in the back and just build up a giant push and come right at me. But the decks that they tend to give you in the mirror challenge weren't really decks that were like that. So you kind of had to play a little bit more skillful than just dumping a bunch of troops in the back and hoping for the best when they get to the other side of the arena.
Totally agree.
So we also got the King's Cup, which is the de facto challenge of the week.
Yeah, we did. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this challenge?
So this was actually something that we talked about when they brought up all the different things that were going to be introduced into the game with the update. And this challenge is sort of like a chain challenge, right? So how it works is you have one giant challenge that is broken up into 3 separate parts, or at least in this particular instance, it was broken up into 3 separate parts. So technically, they're all 3 separate challenges combined as one. You have to finish the first one in order to get into the second one. You have to finish the second one in order to get into the third one. Now, the tricky part with this is that they all require different amounts of wins, and they all offer different rewards. Plus, aside from the fact that every one of them gives you 1 free entry, they all have different entry costs after the first entry is completed. And I don't remember what the subsequent entry cost was for the first one, but I know that the second one, because I had to do this multiple times, the second one cost 10 gems, while the third one cost 100 gems. And I kind of understand that, even though I kind of squinted my eyes a little bit when I first saw it, but the grand prize was a legendary, or I should say a legendary chest. So,
right. I mean, at the end of the day, I thought this was a really cool format, right? Like, this was the first time that one instance of a challenge allowed you to unlock the next instance of a challenge, right? And I think at the end of the day, the casual feel of the first type was perfect. And even the second one, I mean, 10 gems to try is not a lot at all. So you can try a bunch of times, right? And at the end of the day, it allows you to get a lot of practice in. If you do well in that and you unlock it, you get to the grand challenge, which is the hardest one and gives you the most rewards, like you just said. But at the same time, like, that's where the best people are going to be playing. And if you're willing to take the stab at it, throw them in. But, for 100 gems, basically you have to pay 100 gems each time you try it, right? I think I would have cared less if they would have allowed you to play the 10 gem one over and over again, but not get the one-time rewards over and over again, right?
mm-hmm.
So basically how this worked is once you completed the first phase, you couldn't play it again. You had to move on to the second phase.
Right.
Once you completed the second phase, you couldn't do that again, and you had to go to the third phase. So, like, what if I didn't want to pay 100 gems, but I wanted to play the challenge? Why couldn't I just do the second phase again and play it for fun and just get minimal amounts of, like, coins and potential cards and gems, right? Like, why did I have to go to the third phase? And it was like forcing me to pay 100 gems to play it.
Yeah, I can get behind that. And to be fair, it is the first time that we have seen something like this in the game, and hopefully they are listening to feedback and maybe hearing some podcasters talk about it. Who knows? But hopefully it only gets better, because right now I am all for adding different things into the game just to kind of mix stuff up, because we don't want this game to get stale. We love this game, but if it gets stale, then we get bored. If we get bored, then we don't want to play.
Right. I mean, we do a podcast on it. So,
right. It's kind of important for it to not be boring.
Safe to say we love it.
Right. So, I mean, that's really the King's Cup in a nutshell, and and both of the challenges in a nutshell. So let's move on to our meta check.
Meta check.
So our boy, as always, Devin Sir Lloyd Christmas, comes to us with another wonderful meta check, and this time he's got some interesting numbers to share with us.
That's right, man. So our boy Lloyd Christmas hit us with another one, and the numbers are interesting, as you put it. Are you ready?
Born ready.
You may or may not have seen this coming, but the Tesla Tower, out of obscurity.
Ooh.
Since the update, the Tesla Tower has been used a total of 8 times in the top of the ladder. What was the count before that, you may be asking? Well, let me tell you. 0.
I was going to say 0.
0 times in the last 6 months. With the boost in DPS, the Tesla Tower is now able to one-shot goblins and minions at tournament levels. And I want you to consider this. The only buildings in the game to target air and ground are the Tesla Tower
1
and the Inferno Tower
2.
That's it. And oh, by the way, you may or may not see them used in most building type deck archetypes, aside from Mortar and Expo style decks.
That makes me think we just need another building that deals with air troops. Maybe only air troops. That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. Although I guess the cost would have to be really low on it, right? Because there's less air troops in the game than there are ground troops. So it could get really good value, or it could become pretty useless at the same time.
Yeah, maybe they could introduce like a Venus flytrap.
That would be so cool.
Right? That like attracts or lures a flying unit to its little toothed mouth, and it just grabs onto it and it just doesn't let it go for a little bit. It doesn't really do damage, it just doesn't let it go for a couple seconds. So other things could do damage.
That would be really cool, but that's not part of this meta check. So,
right. That's in Rob's meta check.
Right, Rob's meta check. So let's keep going. So check this. Beatdown style decks have been on the decline as of late, which has allowed cards like Goblins and Goblin Gang to go on the increase. For this same reason, we're seeing decreases in the Inferno Tower use rates, as it's now down to 8% use rates at the top of the ladder, where the Tesla has really doubled its use rate to 14% in the current meta at the top of the ladder. Now, this makes sense, right? Because these two things are inverse of one another. For example, the Tesla Tower is good against squishy troops, not so great against tanky troops. Inferno Tower, not so good against squishy troops, really good against tanky troops. So the fact that we're seeing declines in the Golem decks and the Giant decks kind of automatically gives way for the Tesla Tower to become more useful.
I totally understand that logic there, and I'm kind of happy to see the Tesla Tower get a little bit more love recently.
Yeah, and I think one other piece of the puzzle is really that the Tesla Tower hides itself, right? So at the end of the day, the Tesla Tower isn't pulling in troops as far as an Inferno Tower or Cannon would, and that's because it hides itself. So the troop doesn't see the building or get attracted to the building until after the Tesla Tower has been, call it, activated, right? So if you're, I guess the ultimate way to put it is if giants and golems and those types of troops were being used, you really can't use the Tesla Tower as effectively because it won't pull them as far as it needs to.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I've got a funny one for you.
I don't know if I'm ready. It's been serious so far.
The flying machine, for whatever reason, has made the list one total time.
Oh no.
Devin really isn't sure why it's in there, has nothing much to say other than it's technically just more relevant than the Goblin Hut, which I would have to agree with.
Yeah.
I would definitely have to agree with that.
I'm sure there would be some fans that would disagree with that, but yeah, my humble opinion is, I don't know why it's there either.
And I will hit you with one more before we move on.
I'm ready.
Tornado use rates is checking in super, super strong in each of the last 3 periods, with use rates of 28%, 32%, and 38%. So it's hovering right around the 30% area. Now, given what we just said before about the rise of squishy troops and the lack or decline of big tanky troops, this makes sense because the tornado is effective in assisting in killing things like the Goblin Gang. Not fully, but half of them it will kill. Also kills the bats, and it really helps assist in killing the goblins.
Yeah, and we always talk about the meta check from the perspective of like the pros, but I have to say this is probably one of the few that I kind of relate to, only because I'm seeing a lot of these changes take place at the Legendary Arena as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, at the end of the day, these numbers all come from the tippy top of the highest point and most competitive spot of the ladder, which is the top 25 decks, right?
Right.
So, these players are a lot better than us. They use different cards than us, and they use them much more effectively than we'll ever use them. So, typically, we won't see all of the changes. But I agree with you, man. Like, the changes that we've listed out here or that Devin has kind of itemized out are super impactful, not only at the top of the ladder, but to be honest, I've seen them all throughout.
We call that trickle-down clashonomics.
Ooh. I don't have anything other to say than boom.
That was good. I'm proud of myself for that one, actually.
That was really impressive, actually. That was really good.
Thank you. So anything else from Sir Devon?
Nope, nothing else that we wanted to point out, but we will, as always, put the meta check inside the show notes. Take a look at it. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know, and we will respond. Boom.
All right, well, that was a pretty good meta check, but you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for Boom It or Moob It.
Boom it or move it!
So, Joe, maybe we got a couple of new listeners for the show. Do you want to explain what this new section is?
Yeah, so Boom It or Move It is a section that I absolutely love, where Rob and I take random things, random topics related to the game, and we go rapid fire, and we say whether we like it or we don't like it. If we like it, we boom it. If we don't like it, we move it, and we explain why. But it's rapid fire, so we try to do them quickly.
That's right. All right, well, are you ready for number one?
Oh, I am ready. If I was ever ready for anything, it'd be number one.
Great. So number one is, regardless of tower level, you are always able to attain and play max cards in the arena. Boom it or move it.
Dude, I'm gonna move this one. Like, I get that this really allows pay-to-play players kind of invest a lot of money in the game, but it really, really stifles the ladder play. There are so many players that are under-leveled at their crown, at their king tower, but have the ability to climb the ladder faster simply because they put money into the game, and it makes it almost discouraging for the free-to-play players to play on the ladder, right? And I think if Supercell were to implement some sort of a level cap on the ladder level of cards, I think it would really, really help that. We've seen something like this being suggested before. Clash of Clans has level caps for specific kinds of troops, whereby if you're not a certain town hall level, you can have certain, levels of cards. And to be honest, it just makes it more fair and balanced, right? So the way it currently sits is it stifles the ladder play because it discourages free-to-play players to play it. And I just wish that there would be some sort of a level cap.
Yeah, I mean, I can't count how many times I've played a match against, let's say, a level 10 who has an entire deck full of maxed out cards. And when you see maxed out legendaries, I get a little concerned. I get a little worried.
Little bit. Yeah, me too. I would say when my log can't kill a princess, that's a problem.
That is a giant problem. Yep. So I think we totally agree to move this one, right?
Yep. No, I totally agree. All right, let's move on to the next one. The mortar is broken. Fix it. Boom it or move it.
Ooh, I think you know what I'm going to say.
What is that?
It's a huge boom it. It's a move it for the mortar being broken, but it's a total boom it that they need to fix it. So the main gist of the problem is that the mortar just doesn't target properly. Personally, I've noticed it more when things are a little closer and you also try to target something that's farther away. It just kind of gets confused and it doesn't really know what to do, and it literally just stops shooting. And I have to tell you, it's so annoying.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is a total boom it that it needs to be fixed. I don't know what the cause is, but over the past 2 weeks, I have noticed it so much. Maybe it's just because I play it all the time that I notice it a lot, right? But it is the most frustrating thing when your entire goal with the mortar, or any other building for that matter, that's a siege type deck, right? Like the Expo or the mortar. Your entire goal is to just get that one split second where the thing can lock onto the tower. And if you get that moment and it doesn't shoot, then you might as well just quit the game because you've lost.
Right? And if it can't do that, the number one functionality of the card is missing. So really, I don't even know how we are where we are with this deck.
Needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed soon.
Yep. Okay. So we both agree that's a boom. Are you ready for number 3?
Hit me.
This new update, the massive update that Supercell introduced for the game, also introduced a bug where cards are very delayed when they're being dropped into the arena. Most notably with spells, but boom it or moob it.
I'm gonna move this one, dude. Like, I just don't understand it, to be honest with you, right? Like, at the end of the day, this game is a game of seconds, but sometimes even as quick as milliseconds. Like, if you're 1 split second too late, you are too late, and there's no recovery.
Agreed.
And like you just said, most notably with spells is right, because spells typically happen quick, but they're supposed to be quick answers to things that are happening anywhere on the map. You know, maybe except for the rocket, because it takes a little bit long to get there, but at the end of the day, if your reactions are on time, but the deployment is delayed because of whatever reason, maybe the server's just not registering the card pull or something, or maybe there's just lag in the server. I don't know what the answer is, but it's super frustrating, especially when it causes you to lose. So I don't know what within the update made that start happening, but I really, really, really hope that it becomes fixed soon, because at the end of the day, you can't, even if you have a huge game update, you can't sacrifice quality over pushing something out, right?
Right. I mean, really, when you think about what this game is all about, it's all about timing. You have to be able to time things properly. It's just like comedy. Comedy is timing, right? So I think that this is a huge deal. And I think that they, like you said, they need to fix this ASAP. This needs to be fixed yesterday.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to the final boom it or move it. Are you ready?
I am ready.
When you are on a losing streak, Supercell says that they match you up against someone that is also on a losing streak. Boom it or move it?
I'm definitely going to boom this one because I feel like when I am on a losing streak, I am grasping onto anything I can get my hands onto to get a win. And if this is the way that they want to kind of, so to speak, help me out, I'll take it. I mean, it seems like this is a nice way to handle if you're in that trophy death spiral, which is so notorious with this game. We talk about it virtually every other episode of our podcast. I mean, it's something that is very well known in this community. If you haven't been in a trophy death spiral, you haven't played Clash Royale. So, I mean,
totally agree.
Yep, I feel like I really like this in the way that they're trying to help you out.
Yep, no, I think it's very well said. I think at the end of the day, if you are winning, you should be put into a group of winning players. That way you can get more challenged. And if you're losing, you need something to help you out. And we all look for the little silver linings in things. And this is certainly one of them.
Boom.
Boom.
And that does it for another successful Boom It or Move It. That was good. I like that one.
Me too, man. But now we've got some chests to open.
Chests. Maybe that'll be our new theme song when we start doing this stuff.
What's that?
I'm not going to do it again. It'll just annoy our listeners.
Perfect.
Trying to avoid doing that this episode. So I have 2 chests because I opened up my clan chest because I got a little impatient.
A little bit antsy over there, big guy, but it's okay. I've got 3 chests, but that kind of stinks because if you have 2 and I have 3, I have to go first.
Right. Well, then this is a good day.
For at least one of us.
Right.
All right, so I've got a clan chest, a crown chest, and a big dog.
All right, I got crown and a big dog, so why don't you do your clan chest?
All right, here we go. Clan chest, 10 of 10. 1,620 gold. 2 mega minions. 15 regular minions.
Okay.
62 stabby goblins, which Devin said in the meta check are moving on up, baby.
That's a pretty good one.
12 furnaces.
Annoying card.
I know, I hate the furnace. I mean, I don't really use the furnace, but I hate playing against the furnace.
Me too.
13 heal spells, 2 clone spells, and 164 spear goblins.
Ooh.
Not too shabby, but not too good.
I mean, the spear goblins are pretty good if you're gonna play a Zap bait deck.
I agree.
But that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, so I guess it's my turn with a crown chest. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
609 gold. 2 gems.
Nice.
3 bomb towers.
Well, that's useless.
I'm not happy about that one. 28 bats. 5 flying machines.
Hey, Devin said they hit the top of the ladder, man.
I know. I mean, I'd say they'd be really good in touchdown, but we can't really play it, so I wouldn't know.
Sound a little bit bitter there, buddy.
Sorry. Maybe I'm a little bitter. And last but not least, 46 knights.
Dude, that's awesome.
I know.
Didn't you just say before that you were trying to level that up to level 13?
I am, and I am super close. I'm like 50 away now, dude. I need like one more chest that has a lot in them.
One more hoorah.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff, man.
All right, well, I'm actually pretty satisfied with my crown chest. Doesn't happen very often, but this time, I'm feeling good about my knights, man.
As you should. As you should. All right, I've got a crown chest. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 596 gold.
Ooh.
3 gems.
Always trying to one-up me, man.
Always trying, but not always succeeding. 6 arrows. Mortar mauler, baby.
6, though.
6 more than I had before, especially when I'm currently working on leveling it up to level 13. I don't see you over there saying nice for me. Thanks, Rob.
I mean, it's nice, but let's be honest, it's 6. You need how many for level 13?
Let's not talk about it.
Right. So 6.
So 6. 9 wizards.
That's pretty good.
Man, 66 spear goblins. What are with these spear goblins?
It's a sign.
And 1 clone spell. Like, you've got to be kidding me.
It sounds like they want you to play a Zap bait deck.
Sounds like it, but I don't know if I'm hearing it well.
Open your ears, man. Let it in.
Let it pour in. Listen.
Don't deny what the Supercell gods are telling you.
Listen to the sounds that are coming out of my mouth. I'm not sure what that means.
Me neither, but it was funny.
All right. Anyway, I have one more chest. Do you?
I do. I have a giant chest.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was really hoping for like a magical or a super magical, but I'll take my giant. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, giant chest. 860 gold. 51 stabby goblins.
Nice.
So is this a good sign? 1 freeze spell.
Oh, man. You already got the epic. You're going to get a bunch of rares right now. 177 Tesla towers. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Even though it's funny, like 6 months ago, we'd be like, rah, Tesla.
Right. Right. It's amazing what one balance change can do.
Yeah, and last but not least, oh man, I'm just gonna shut my phone off and go for a walk.
Tell me you got elite barbarians.
Think of any card that could be worse than that.
Bombers.
No, but I mean, that's pretty bad. 58 goblin huts.
I'm so sorry.
It was a huge tease with that epic up front in the chest, and now it's like a huge letdown. Man.
I totally agree, man.
I really hope that this was going to be the episode.
You want to know what's funny? I was really hoping that too, because if you would have gotten a legendary, this would have been a guaranteed, shut the podcast down, world explodes, boom, 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 boom kind of moment. Because I, sir, have a legendary chest to open.
Well, I'm super excited that you're going to get to do a backflip in North Carolina right now, but I wish I was going to shut the podcast down with you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, and you better make sure you tell me when it's spinning. I need to know.
Here we go. Spinning. The lumberjack!
Hey!
Yes!
Boom!
Dude, that's so awesome. I love the lumberjack. And, oh, by the way, it's going to be featured in the deck spotlight that we talk about in, I don't know, like 2.5 minutes.
Probably a lot less than that, actually.
By 2.5 minutes, I mean like 20 seconds.
Right. Dude, lumberjack, though.
Lumberjack is awesome. I got to see how many do I have now? Let's see.
Is he already at level 2 for you, or is this...
I can now make him level 2.
All right, and luckily it's only $5,000, right? So
5 G's, baby, and I've got it in the bank. Let's go.
I know, you're like Mr. Moneybags over there with these maxed out cards.
Well, I currently only have 20,000 gold. So I am not what you would call Mr. Moneybags.
That's because you spent it all.
Right.
That's exactly who I would call Mr. Moneybags.
well, dude, the only way to get a max level card is to spend 100,000 gold. So, like, I don't know what else to do. I literally don't upgrade anything other than my Mortar Mauler deck. So it's just like, I just play and save and upgrade one specific deck.
Yeah, it's fair. I only upgrade stuff randomly when I have to use certain cards in challenges and they don't tourney cap them. But other than that, I'm with you. I have to only level up my mortar deck.
Boom.
Boom. So, are you ready? Let's move on to our deck spotlight.
Deck spotlight.
So this deck is titled the Tomahawk because it comes at you like a hammer.
That was very emphasized and totally correct.
And it is a 4.3 average elixir cost deck, and it contains the Golem, the Zap, the Elixir Pump, the Mega Minion, the Poison, Bandit, the Night Witch, and the Lumberjack. So Joe, how do you throw this Tomahawk?
I like it, man. Dude, this deck is a powerhouse. As Rob said, it is a 4.3 average elixir cost deck. It does feature the Golem, so it is your beatdown style deck. I mean, the best way I can describe this deck is that you use your cards very, very scarcely to defend. And the cards that you should be using to defend are very simply the Bandit or the Night Witch. You can use the Lumberjack, but you should only use the Lumberjack if your opponent's throwing down something like the Hog Rider or the Giant, something that you need to kill very, very quickly. Otherwise, the main goal of this deck is to get the Elixir Pump down. You don't need more than one down, but in the right situations, you can have more than one down. If you get one Elixir Pump up correctly, and it's not taking damage and you can gain Elixir advantage from it, the main push is to drop the Golem in the back, again while defending very scarcely. After the Golem gets about to where the Archer Tower would be, you want to drop your Night Witch on the far corner of the map. Not behind the King Tower, but the corner of the map.
I don't think I've ever seen a Night Witch played there. That's really interesting.
So the corner of the map is important, and that's because your other troops are going to be placed along the middle of the map, and it allows your opponent to not get as good a value on their spells if they decide to use them on your troops that are going to be behind your Golem. So for example, if your Night Witch starts from the back corner and starts to follow let's talk real, right? If you're using the right-hand side of the map, you'd put your golem right behind the king tower on the right-hand side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would walk up between the king tower and the right-hand archer or princess tower, correct?
Right.
But now you drop your night witch on the right-hand corner behind where your archer tower would be. In theory, she's going to pass the right-hand side of that archer tower to the far, far right. So if you drop another troop in the middle of the map, but close enough to where it'll move to the right as well, it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to get both of those troops in their spell radius.
Right.
And the only spells that can hit both of them at the same time are things like the poison, but it won't do as much damage because they're going to walk right out of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, at the end of the day, this deck winds up being a push with the golem and stack with plenty of fun troops behind it. The main one, like I said, is the Night Witch. The key troop to this whole deck, which makes the whole thing jive, is the Lumberjack. If the Lumberjack is not down, your deck will not feel as though it's actually a full powerhouse. The Lumberjack's goal is to get in there, deal massive damage, but ultimately it's to die. Because at the end of the day, you want the Lumberjack's rage to be raging and increasing attack speed and movement speed of things like your Mega Minion, your Night Witch and the related bats, and also the Bandit with its dash. The most impactful spell in this deck is going to be your Zap. The Zap is the only way that you're going to be able to keep your Golem alive if the Inferno Tower or Inferno Dragon is there. Without the Zap, your deck loses because it needs the Golem to be tanking and be distracting while your massive damage dealing troops throw in the Tomahawk down behind it. The poison should be played scarcely and only when multiple troops are being placed down before you use it. If you use the poison too soon in this deck, you're not going to get good value because your opponent will be able to place the troops around the poison, and like I said before, the Golem tanking allows troops to stand in place. That's what the poison needs in order to kill them. So, at the end of the day, push with the Golem after the pump is down, defend lightly to gain elixir advantages, and then just throw the Tomahawk down behind the Golem and watch your opponent's towers melt. This is the ultimate 3-crown deck if you're looking for something in classic challenges to assist your clan in getting your clan chest. This is an easy option once you've learned how to play it in order to do that. Boom.
Boom, dude. Nice job.
Thank you, sir. Love this deck. You definitely got to give it a try. It's a lot of fun. And it just packs a super big punch that your opponent will not see coming.
All right, so we did get a handful of reviews, but quick update. The original website that we were using to pull our iTunes reviews sadly has been taken down, or what looks like it's been taken down. So we had to revert back to a previous website that we used, which is pretty good, except it's slightly more delayed than the one that we were currently using. So if there are more recent reviews, we will eventually see them. But right now, it shows that we have 11 new reviews. So we'll read out one and shout out the rest. You ready?
Ready.
All right, so this one comes to us from Drunk on Rage, and they say, one of the only podcasts worthy of this great game.
Boom, dude.
Yeah, and they say, I have been listening to Cast Royale for about a year now, and I can truly say it is one of the best podcasts I have ever listened to. Rob and Joe synergize perfectly together and bring listeners great analysis, strategy, and news for all aspects of the game while still being extremely entertaining. Why, thank you. Listening to this podcast has taught me many of the finer points of the game and helped me to better understand it as well. The community of listeners is also very good and friendly. I am currently in Cast Royale 4. I would highly recommend anyone looking for a Clash Royale podcast to give it a listen. Boom!
Boom, dude. Drunk on Rage. I have a question for you, Rob. Do you think that this guy is the Lumberjack?
That's really funny that you say that because I was going to ask you the same question.
Well, great minds do think alike, but I mean, I literally just got the Lumberjack from the Legendary Chest. And I couldn't think of a better. Maybe this is the Lumberjack giving us a review.
Maybe. And it's really funny because I would never have known what legendary you were going to pull out, and I just happened to pick that review. So go us.
I mean, hey, what's meant to be? Boom.
Boom.
No, but seriously, Drunk on Rage or Lumberjack or whoever you are, thank you so much for the kind words. Rob and I truly appreciate it. So happy that you're able to join Cast Royale 4, and the community there is definitely representative of what we have in the remainder of the community that's in our Discord and in the other clans. So we're super happy that you're a part of it, and we thank you so much for the review. Bada bada, boom.
And huge shout outs to Corey Butter 237, Ninja Relish, Trail Miner, Mega Ghost Man, Fur or Fire? It's Fire without the E. Fur 164 from Singapore. Ooh. Nathan Casa, Phantom Zone, Stubborn Kid from Poland, Toby 773629, and last but not least, Arex 6 from Italy.
Arex 6 from Italy. Boom.
So thank you all for leaving us wonderful iTunes reviews. As we say every week, it is the number one way you can help us reach more people. We truly appreciate the feedback, and we look at all of these. So if you do leave us a review, we will absolutely see it. So thanks again.
Boom.
Boom. And we got a couple of patrons this week.
Yeah, we did.
Bro, like Robert Knotts and Ronnie DePinto are on fire with Cast Royale right now.
Guys, thank you so much for donating your hard-earned money to support what we do. Our patrons are the backbone of our show, and we can't thank you enough for supporting what we do to continue to allow us to bring fresh, new, fun, and awesome content to all of our listeners. So thank you.
And thank you. So that pretty much does it for this episode, I think. I'm pretty sure now I can confidently say episode 48 in the books.
Episode 48 is in the books. Let's go, baby.
Did I nail it? I'm pretty sure my impression of Joe there was fantastic.
Some may call it fantastic. Others might not.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
No. I'm on the fantastic side.
Oh, really? Oh, it sounded like there was a little I don't know, how do you call it? Sarcasm in your voice when you said that?
I don't have sarcasm. I just have booms.
Well, that's true. I've never seen you give a sarcastic boom.
That's a fact.
Is there even a such thing?
I'm not sure you can have sarcastic boom, actually. What would that sound like?
I was just going to ask you that. You're the expert in this boom stuff. I mean, your name is literally the Boom Man. What would a sarcastic boom sound like?
All right, you give me a sentence. I'll say what I think it would be.
All right, I got it. Isn't touchdown the greatest mode in this game?
Boom.
That was it? That's what you got?
Give me another one.
No, give me one.
No. Give me one more.
Joe, our listeners are the greatest listeners on the planet.
Boom.
Again. God, you know
how there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's? There is certainly an incorrect way to say boom, and I just always go with the flat line, boom.
Right. You have to. It's got to be monotone or super excited.
Right. It's always a point of emphasis, so it can't be negative.
Right. You can be like, boom, but you can't be like, boom. Doesn't really work.
No, that's just depressing. We won't go there ever again.
Right. So, that pretty much does it. All the stuff that we usually say at the end of the episode is in the show notes, but the main one is our Twitter account. So, Joe, where can they reach us if they want to find us on Twitter?
You can find us by using the handle @Podcast Royale.
And that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, for another hodgepodge of everything!
Hodgepodge of everything!
Boom! Bye.
Bye.